Laetare Sunday. This Sunday, Laetare Sunday. I'm not a Latin scholar, so I had to look it up. And when I looked it up, I thought the only way to actually introduce this word appropriately is to request the help of Carla and the choir this morning. Laetare means
rejoice today.
Doesn't that sound great when it's sung? Let's hear it again.
Rejoice today.
Absolutely best when it's sung. One more time.
Rejoice today.
Laetare Sunday. Rejoice today. Rejoice Sunday. This fourth Sunday of Lent, we take a moment out of our Lenten commitment, our Lenten journey, and we rejoice. This morning I rejoice, despite the rain, despite the time change. It was rough. I had a 7 o'clock Mass this morning. I see Father Gary. He's happily acquiesced to my request. He's wearing pink this morning. I rejoice. Thank you, Gary. We rejoice. As Father Gary mentioned in his introduction, I'm Eric Wagner. I am a transitional deacon. I was ordained this past May, and in 2 months to the day from tomorrow, I'll be ordained a priest. I rejoice. I rejoice today for that. It's getting very close, and I'm very excited. I rejoice today because, as Father Gary mentioned, I'm a resurrectionist. This fourth Sunday of Lent, this Laetare Sunday, we're more than halfway through Lent. That much closer to Easter. That much closer to the resurrection. That much closer to my community's big feast day. But that's not why we celebrate this day. Of course, many of us could come up with all kinds of reasons why we celebrate today, why we rejoice today. But the reason why we rejoice today as a community of faith is because of God's remarkable, forgiving love. What do I mean? We've made it through 4 weeks of Lent. Now, as I see it, there's a couple of approaches to the Lenten journey, right? I've tried both of them. There's the giving up approach. Some of us are giver-uppers, right? Right? We give up sweets, chocolate, candy. We give up maybe speeding, if that's a problem for us. We come up with something to give up in order to honor Lent. And then, on the other hand, we have the doers. I'm going to do something special. I'll do something special during Lent. I'll pray more. I'll set aside time for quiet reflection. I'll donate some money to some particular charity. I'll do something special to celebrate Lent, to honor Lent, to honor this season so that I might grow closer to God. The giver-uppers and the doers. In my experience, limited as it may be, by about this time during Lent, I've managed to fail repeatedly on both counts. And that's exactly why we rejoice today. Because we're still here. Because God hasn't smote us for failing. Because God doesn't mind that we're failures. In fact, that's where He loves us the most. At some point in our Lenten journey every year, we probably come to that point where we realize, I can't do this commitment on my own. At some point in our Christian journey, we realize, I can't do this on my own. And that's exactly when we begin to really rejoice. That it takes God's love to get things started, to keep things going, to to move things on their way in our spiritual journey. That's why we rejoice. It is nice that Father Gary's wearing pink this morning. I would have done the same, but alas, we didn't have another pink vestment. But we rejoice. We rejoice this Sunday because of God's remarkable forgiving love. That's what we heard in all of today's readings. All of today's readings were exactly about how much God is ready to forgive us. God is ready to love us anywhere, anytime, any place, no matter how good or how bad we have been. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to God. God is ready to love us. The Father is really the key character in today's gospel reading. It's neither Son. It's neither Son. Neither Son really is the image that we want to think of when we hear today's gospel reading. Because one's a doer. That great good son, right? He's trying to do everything. He's doing everything right. He's gung-ho, except that he's not ready to love his brother. He can't give up his pride. It's all about him. It's all about me. It's all about mine, right? The other son takes everything, and he's like, oh, it's all gone. Might as well give up and go back to Dad. Give her upper. It's all about him. It's all about me, me, me. It's all about mine, mine, mine. Both of their speeches, if you take a minute to read them, both of them, both sons, constantly talk about themselves. The father is constantly talking about his kids. How much he loves them. How glad he is that they're there. He spends no time at all concerned with himself. He's simply excited to love. Ready to forgive. Ready to love. That is why we rejoice today. Because God is so ready to love. Because God is so ready to forgive. Another story, Hemingway. You may have heard of it. I was reminded by a priest friend of mine this weekend of a kind of classic Hemingway story. It talks about a father and son, again, in Spain, and the son had enough of his father, and so he ran away. Enough. Gone. I'm out of here. And the father couldn't bear it. All he wanted to do was have his son back. So his son had run away to Madrid. The father takes out an ad in the local Madrid daily newspaper that says, Paco, all is forgiven. Please come home. Pop, pop. Meet me there on Tuesday. Meet me in the square on Tuesday. Square on Tuesday, the father is amazed to meet 800 Pacos looking to be reunited with their dad. That's the power. That's the love that our God has for us. That's why we rejoice this Laetare Sunday.